Hola. It is 5:05 and it is Wednesday. And I'm leaving work. Now, something huge happened in our lives, and it's huge because it affects everything. As I mentioned before, Ron is diabetic, and he's diabetic for about 2 years now. I think he was diagnosed in early 2011. Oh wait, that's almost 3 years now. Like the middle of 2011. So it's been over 2 years. But he hasn't been controlling it for 2 years. He stopped taking his medication, and he hasn't really accepted the seriousness of being diabetic. I think he's more like out of sight, out of mind. If he doesn't see the consequences in his face, like right now, he's not gonna do anything about it. He's the kind of person who's not gonna do something until he sees the negative effects about it. So I have been pretty determined to get him back on track, because especially now that we're gonna have a baby, I'm like, dude, I need you to not die. I need you to keep your eyesight and your legs and all that until we're done. Like, at least give me 18 years. At least give me those 18 years to help me raise this kid. And, you know, and then you can let your health go to crap, you know, but now you have the responsibility of another life on you. So you can't just be frivolous with your health. He actually would qualify for a gastric bypass like I have. Actually, I think he was a better candidate for it than I was, because he was already diabetic and he has a lot of issues. He has sleep apnea too. But, and sorry about the sun, but I am driving directly to the sun. But he is finding it very hard to give up, I guess, eating. I guess that's how he sees it. He sees it as giving up eating and the joy of food. And if you guys have been following me, you know that I have no issues with that. He has a very high attachment to food emotionally. That's his way of rewarding himself for working hard. And when he's depressed, when he's happy, when he's sad, whatever the situation may be, he always uses food as a reward or comfort. So it's hard for him to picture a life without being able to do that. So for him, he needs to do a lot of work, psychologically, I guess, to figure out where his love of food came from. And it's not that hard to figure out. His whole family has a very large attachment to food. I've seen it firsthand with his parents moving in, and his brother and his sister. They just have very strong attachment to food. And it just wasn't like that for me, so I guess it was a little bit easier to make that decision. So he asked me the other day if I thought he should get gastric bypass. And I gave him a totally and completely honest answer, just like I've been honest with you guys. The reasons why I did it were because I got tired of doing the dieting and the exercising and killing myself, literally. Working out 7 days a week, 2 hours a day, like non-stop, giving up carbs, and then giving myself a break, and then gaining all the weight back. It's like I can't have any rest in between, and it has to be a permanent change, I guess. And to me, I had to be very, very, very completely honest and look at myself and say, really, Olivia, are you gonna exercise for 2 hours a day every day of your life? And honestly, I don't like it. I don't like working out. I don't like going to the gym, and I never have. And even now that I'm lighter, and I've known and I've seen other people who lost all the weight and were like, awesome, energy through the roof, I'm going to run a marathon. You know, like, that's great for them, but it's not happening that way for me. And I, deep down, I knew that I wasn't going to be that. And I knew that if I continued this way, because I ballooned to 280, if I continued with the lifestyle that I had and I didn't get that choice taken away from me, and I wasn't forced to make that change, I was going to continue doing it. So I removed the choice. I removed that by having gastric bypass. And yes, it's an extreme thing, and yes, it's a hard change, and it takes a lot of dedication to stick to it, but it, to me, in the end, it was worth it, and it's still to this day worth it. So I told him this, and I told him if he feels like it's the right thing for him, then he should go through with it. But if it's not something that he feels he can follow through with, and honestly, he's gonna have to face, you know, because it's 6 months of, you know, basically therapy and like dieting, well, not dieting, but changing your habits of eating and all that. And I'm like, if you feel like you can't stick to that, then, you know, then there's no point, because you're going to fail. And as harsh as that sounds, I mean, it's the truth. If you do not face the reasons why you're addicted to certain foods or why you find comfort in food, and you don't solve those issues and realize them and come to terms with them, you're just going to keep doing that. It is what it is. And I can't make decisions for him. I can give him the honest advice and my opinion, and he's seen it firsthand, exactly what I went through. So it's funny that he's asking my opinion on it, and I had it, and you would think, yeah, for sure, go ahead and get it, it's the best thing ever. But no, everybody's different. I honestly think he can do this without having to get gastric bypass, because in my eyes, he's not that overweight. In society's eyes, okay, but for his height, he's almost 6 feet. Like, he's tall. To me, he's tall because I'm 5 feet. You know, he's like way taller than me. But to me, he just needs to get around the 200 mark. Maybe at his lowest, maybe 190, 180, and that's totally reachable for him. So after seeing his doctor and after checking his blood, they made him come in 3 days after they checked his blood and all his vitals and everything, and they were like, you are completely out of control with your sugar. It was running at like a 300. Normal blood sugar range, I guess, is like between like 80 and 125, and he was running at like 330. And this is fasting. Like, he had not had anything to eat all day, like that morning when they tested his blood. So his doctor was pretty much concerned about it and made him come in right away, prescribed him this formulated blend of metformin and something called Geneva. I'm not sure. It's not cheap, I tell you that right now. But he has been taking it, and I think that this was the wake-up call that he needed, because the doctor was like, plain and simple, no sugarcoating. She's like, you will lose your eyesight, you will literally like die if you continue doing what you're doing. And she's like, in order to get you back to a normal range of where your blood should be and make sure that it's under control, I need you to take this medication, and I need you to take this seriously, and we're gonna focus a lot on your diet and exercise, and all that jazz. So I had a serious conversation with him after the appointment, and I told him how important it was for me to have him take this seriously, and I promised to be there with him and help him as much as I can. So what I've been doing this past week is, he fought me a little bit the first couple of days, the first 2 days. He was kind of like still, I guess, in denial, you can say. And he wanted to go eat sushi. So the first morning that all this happened, the next day when I started checking his blood sugar, he was like at a 300. And I started cutting out rice. I stopped making it, and I started doing, you know, baking chicken and all that stuff. But he still wanted to go out to eat, so I was like, fine. I'm not gonna fight you, because this is not my health, it's yours, and people only change when they want to change. So I let him have his sushi. We went home, went to sleep. The next morning, checked the sugar. It freaking spiked to around the 300 range again, and I was like, do you see? The day before he went to go have sushi, he had gone down to 244, and then the very next day after he had went to have sushi and all that, he jumped up back to 300. So I told him, I'm like, do you see what's going on? Do you see what's happening when you eat? There is no way that you can deny this. It's right here in your face. What you eat is going to affect you. And he's like, okay, I get it. I guess you're right. No more sushi. And for that matter, I actually was like, well, we need to stop eating out. The reason we eat out a lot is because he usually gets home like 6 or 7. I usually go home like at 6. By this time, I do not feel like cooking anything. I feel like going to sleep. But I'm making an honest approach to changing that, because it's not only affecting me, even though I'm not, if I eat out, it's like Subway or whatever. Whenever he does want to go out to eat and we go to like restaurants, I usually try to choose something that is healthier, like salmon or chicken, and he usually goes for the like high ticket items, I guess you can say, like ribeye and stuff. But it's still not helping. Even though I'm doing stuff for myself and making sure I eat okay, he's still making the bad choices, even though we're at the same restaurant. So to try to deteriorate from that, I said we're gonna try and not eat out as much, and if we do, to make a better choice on where we're gonna eat out. So we both make that agreement, and I've been making it my mission to make sure that he eats breakfast, because he doesn't eat breakfast. So for the past week now, I've been writing down all his blood sugar levels every day, every morning at 7 a.m. I've been checking his blood sugar, making him take his medication, and now it's kind of like setting in as a routine for him, because he doesn't wake up groggy anymore, and he doesn't like take forever to do it now. He's like, all right, he's getting it. He's getting it. His body's getting used to it. So I'm glad that he's getting up with me in the morning and doing what he needs to do for himself. You guys should know that changing habits is very hard. It is extremely hard. But as long as you try, then eventually your body will catch up with your mind, and it will become like clockwork. So that's where I'm trying to get him. I'm excited because his blood sugar went from 330 to 174 this morning. So this past week, I have been able to prove to him that if he eats breakfast, he eats a sensible lunch, whether it's a turkey sandwich, a ham and cheese sandwich, or even Chipotle with brown rice and like no sour cream. You know, like I've been helping him make those kind of choices. Even with that, it already made a difference in his blood. And I switched him over from regular rice to quinoa. I tried brown rice. He hates that stuff. So I switched him over from regular white rice to quinoa, which he is tolerating. He's like, okay, it's better than brown rice. So I will take that. Yesterday I made chicken that I found online. And it was pretty easy to make, and it was basically baked chicken with like an onion kind of gravy. The gravy consisted of chicken stock, glazed, I guess, onions. I let them like in the pot with a bit of olive oil, and they got like translucent and stuff, and I added some mushrooms in there, and then chicken stock, low sodium chicken stock, and I let that simmer, and then I added, you know, my seasonings to it. It was like paprika, rosemary, lemon, pepper, I don't know, a few things. And then after browning the chicken for a little bit, I stuck it in the oven to finish cooking, and then I put it in the gravy to finish cooking through for I think 20 minutes. I had it on simmer, and he loved it. He's like, it tastes like it tastes like chicken adobo, but it's not. I'm like, yeah, and it doesn't have all that fat and stuff. So he liked that. Today I'm going to make pan seared I think pork chops, but I got the lean chops, so hopefully they won't come out too dry, and hopefully he'll like them too. But I've been making a more of an effort to cook at home, and not only is it saving us money, because we were spending, I want to say, like $50 a day eating out a day. Yeah, that's a lot of money. Now that his parents are gone, his mom's not there to cook dinner, and I haven't been good at cooking dinner. Breakfast, yes. Dinner, no. So I've been making more of an effort to cook at home, and trying to plan out the meal versus getting home and wondering what I'm gonna cook. I already know what I'm gonna cook. The meat is already defrosted. I know that I have all the ingredients. I know what I have to do to prep it. And the quinoa is already cooked from yesterday because I cooked extra to have for the day, for the week actually. So I am honestly making an effort to help him, and in the long run I'm helping myself too, because it's saving me money. It's saving me on the high fat food that usually is associated with eating out, and it's helping him in a big way, because I can tell that it's helping him. So I'm proud of that. I'm proud of him, and I hope that him seeing the progress in just his blood sugar just within a week of taking care of himself will motivate him to really keep it up and keep it going. As far as the exercise part, we have not made any plans besides going out and walking, because my doctor suggested that I add a walking routine into my daily activities or weekend activities to help with labor and help with, you know, just a pregnancy in general, because I wasn't a big exerciser in the first place. She doesn't want me to go out and start exercising. It might be bad for the baby, for my body to get shocked that I'm like doing the elliptical right now. So she said to do light workouts, light stretching, and just a lot of walking. So we've done that, but I'm gonna ask her how she feels about jogging, if I can jog, because I know he likes that. But other than that, I know this video ran pretty long, but I had to really get it out there that this is a big change for both of us, and I want him to try this first and see how that works out for him before we go the whole gastric bypass route. I want him to honestly make 100% effort to do this and to try to get his blood sugar under control and his eating under control and all that before he goes and does gastric bypass, because it's a big decision. It's a huge life-changing decision that is irreversible, and I just want him to come to that decision on his own after he knows he tried everything. So yeah, I will keep you guys posted on how he's doing periodically. But sorry, this video ran really long. Believe it or not, it's been 20 minutes and I'm still not home, and my job is only 10 minutes away, but there's a lot of traffic. So I will see you guys in a couple of days. I've had more time to vlog. Well, not time, but I've had more energy, I guess you can say, to vlog, which is why you guys have been seeing more videos lately. And I hope to keep this up because it's really good for me to talk to you guys about things that are going on, especially since I don't have a lot of people to talk to right now. And I have a lot of things on my mind. So, like I said, I'll see you guys soon.